Today's hearing continues the subcommittee's review of the Fair Housing Act and its enforcement by the Department of Justice. In this hearing, we will be looking at predatory lending practices that have targeted minority communities and borrowers. I am pleased that Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Tom Perez has joined us today to discuss the Civil Rights Division's enforcement initiatives in this area. It is really refreshing to have a seasoned civil rights lawyer who believes in the Division's mission at the helm again. Years ago, minority communities were denied credit under a policy called redlining, in which individuals who lived in those communities were denied credit not on the basis of their creditworthiness, but on the basis of their race. The term came from the practice of simply drawing a red line around a minority neighborhood and refusing to lend in that area. In addition to being unfair to individual borrowers who were otherwise qualified for loans on an equal basis as white borrowers, redlining destroyed whole communities around the country. Fortunately, states and the federal government enacted fair lending laws to outlaw this practice. What we witness today, however, is something called reverse redlining, a mortgage brokerage or a bank's practice of systematically singling out minority borrowers in neighborhoods for loans with inferior terms, such as high upfront fees, high interest rates, and lax underwriting practices. It seems that everything old is new again. Here we are again looking at the impact of discriminatory lending practices on families and communities. But what we're now looking at is not the refusal to lend in those areas or to those people. It is the refusal to give normal loans. It is steering people into subprime and more expensive loans with inferior terms in the areas in effect or the groups that used to be redlined. And what is most pernicious about the more recent practice is that the banks figure that they can make more money through predatory lending than they can by simply refusing to lend altogether. The geographic pattern is the same. Whether you look at a map of Memphis or Boston or Baltimore or Brooklyn, the pattern is disturbing, and anyone who knows his or her city can see exactly who was targeted. We know the results of the wave of subprime lending: foreclosures, destroyed lives, destroyed credit, destroyed communities, and a destroyed financial system. These people are the human face of the unrestrained subprime lending spree. And what is most disgraceful is that it didn't have to happen. Many people who were sold subprime mortgages could easily have qualified for conventional mortgages. In addition to hearing, but they were not offered conventional mortgages, or they were steered into subprime mortgages because of their race or their location. In addition to hearing about the problem and about how the courts and the Justice Department are attempting to address the harm, I hope to hear from our witnesses today what more we can do to provide the tools necessary to prevent this outrage from occurring in the future.